The last time you saw me, we were building Halifax and Model Railway Solutions. We're now back at the Mckinley Railway, and here it is. Welcome back to the Mckinley Railway. I'm James, formerly of James's Train Parts, now James's Model Railway Company. And I'm here to show you what we've done with Halifax and Halifax B. So as I said before, the last time you saw us, we were building Halifax up at Model Railway Solutions in their workshops, and I showed you some of the wiring on the underside, what we did with all the track, and what we do to generally build them. We've now arrived and it has been installed. It's all supported on its structure, and as you can see, the track has been sprayed, so it all looks nice and weathered, and we've hooked all the wires up. Everything is running, everything has been tested. We've got to the stage where we've put the fascias on the front, and you can see all these buttons here. These control the uncouplers for uncoupling the trains at various points, and we even got to the stage of marking the uncouplers with little white rails so you can see where they are quickly and easily. Everything has been connected through back to the main layout, so the railway lines now run out of the back of Halifax all the way around through Wakefield, which is over this side of the railway, back round to Sheffield, which is way behind us and you've seen in previous videos. And we can run trains all the way up to here now, which we are testing to make sure everything works. We have all the uncouplers wired up, the RFIDs for picking up the individual trains, that's all been connected. The only thing that isn't on here at the moment is the signals, purely because there's a good chance we'll damage those when we're doing all the testing. That's the very last thing that we're going to attach, but the wiring is all there. So this is the main control panel for Halifax. You can see the line coming in from Wakefield at the top. We've got our two platforms here. We've got the main factory unit, Mckinley Chocolates and Tibble's Mill here. We have the buttons for controlling all the points. So I can push one button and I can change a point on the layout, and the lights will tell me which way the point is set. We also have these red buttons, which are routes, which are really useful. We could say I want to run from this track, and I push one switch and then push the last switch, and it'll set the necessary route between the two red buttons. Makes things a lot quicker and easier to do. The other buttons you can see on the panel here, these are the interlocks. At the moment they're red, which means the computer has control of the areas, and you can see these red lights light up to say the computer has that. If I turn that off, you see the lights go out, and it means that the yard operator has full control over this part of the railway. I'm going to put it back onto the computer in case we want to run a train in a bit. The green buttons are for saying that the platform is occupied or not, and what that means is if the computer is wanting to send a train up, I can say which station I want it to go to, which one is free. If the light is on, I'm saying that the station is open and available. And the black sections are stations, the greens are our freight arrival, and Halifax mostly is a freight station. This is the freight manager screen, and this is so that the computer can interface with the software, so when a train arrives, it populates the screen and tells you where it wants to put the wagons. So for example, we've got some wagons in the stock sidings. I'm going to move them now across one of the sensors, and you can see that it's now populated in the arrival departure track 2, and it's telling me that it wants me to put them into GCR, which is the Gloucester Road, and that'll be when this is working properly, that will be designated to one of these sidings here. We're still developing the software on this particular screen. We've installed the KD electromagnetic uncouplers, and you can see them here marked by the white bars, which are used to help show the operators where they are. These two wagons have KD couplings between them, and if I push them over the uncoupler, push the button, the train uncouples. After 9 seconds, the uncoupler stops, and I can couple up again and take the train away. As you can see, there are lots of buttons on the front for all the various uncouplers, and they're all marked by letters which mean certain things. RR for run round, P1 for platform 1, and also the different colours underneath relate to the control panel up on the wall that I showed you earlier. We use the standard Digitrax throttles, and what we have is a pocket for them to sit in, and the reason why we have a pocket that's sloping into the fascia rather than underneath is we need access to the underside of Halifax, because this is where we're going to be swapping trains around for coal trains that are running up into Halifax, and we need to be able to get in there. We don't want a pocket hanging down. What we've also done, the standard UP5 socket, is we've changed them with our own face plates just to make them more nice for the Mckinley Railway, and as you can see, we've coloured them up. They're exactly the same as the Digitrax UP5 sockets, we just made them match all the other plates. The red light signifies the track power is on. All the wires from Halifax do need to go somewhere, and as we've done with elsewhere on the layout, there is a drawer that holds all the electronics and all the bits and pieces. And in this case, the drawer is right here. And on the front, you can see the voltage going to the track, currently at 13.9 volts, and the amperage that's being drawn. There's no trains running, so it's 0.09 of an amp. If I open the drawer up, inside you can see all the electrics. We've got the booster that's producing all the power, and then we've got things like the PM42, BDL168, the DAC20 boards, and the signalling board. So with Halifax installed, we also have the next part, which is Halifax B, which you haven't seen yet. And this is Halifax B. It's a bit smaller, but it's part of the same freight operation as Halifax. And effectively, it's a gasworks with a few other industries as well, and access to Tibble's Mill, which is not installed. This point here will run across into Tibble's Mill. We're still doing a bit of construction on that. It's been installed, it's fully wired, trains can now run in here, all the points work. It's a lot simpler than the other layouts in the sense it does have RFID and uncouplers, but it doesn't have all the different districts. It is just one district, as it's only freight. The computer doesn't run trains up into here. This is purely for the guys to operate as part of the system. So as with the other sections in the layout, we're going to have a control panel above Halifax B, and here's the back plate here. So we're going to have a computer screen on the left side, which will be the freight manager, and on the right hand side will be a control panel with all the buttons to control the points, just as the other parts of the layout. So all the wiring for Halifax B is done, all the points work, all the RFIDs are connected. What isn't done is all the buttons for the uncouplers, because they need to go into the fascia, but we can't complete that yet until we've sorted out the front of the structure. And that was tied in with sorting out the back seam that's going to run all the way along and around to the corner of the building, and also the structure that's going to sit under here for the shoe fly. This shoe fly is temporary, and it connects Sheffield to Halifax via Wakefield. Runs round in a clockwise direction and appears behind me. Now I say temporary because it's not in its final position. This is actually going to come out. The twin tracks are going to be almost parallel to the front of Halifax B and then run through this hole slightly to the right of where you can see it now, and that will be its final position. And then there'll be a retaining wall behind the twin tracks, something scenic here, and the fascia will come along, drop down and run across in front. Because of the nature of the industries that are in Halifax B, particularly the gasworks, we need lots of tankers and special wagons to service it. So we've been out, we've got some new wagons, they've been weathered up, and I wanted to show them to you. But rather than just saying, here they are on the railway, I know lots of people have been really keen to see trains running on the railway. So what we're going to do, we're going to run a train up from Sheffield, all the way up through Wakefield to Halifax. Here's our train direct from Sheffield with all our tankers that have come up. They've been weathered, they're ready for testing, and along with the freight manager and the other one, when we get it installed on Halifax B, we'll be able to test the software properly and make sure all this works. And the nice thing is now, with trains running up into here and running up into here, we're only 2 more tracks away, these last 2 in the shoe fly, for having all the lines in the extension down and finished. With all the track work almost complete, the amount of testing we've now got to do is quite monumental, but it's going to be a lot of fun.